Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. What up? Um, it's Saturday for me. Um, Not much is going on. I think I'm staying in today. I don't know. I'm trying to catch a vibe maybe or catch a nap. I'm not sure. Um, Food corner. I had fruit by the foot. I still have some. I got a box of those. I got like a couple left, but yeah, that was tasty. That was my snack. um, Other than that, we can just get into it. Actually, I know sometimes I don't like to fluff you too hard. Um, got some updates mostly for this episode. The Texas Tribune is where we're gonna start. Judge temporarily blocks Texas investigations into families of trans kids. So this is an update from the whole Texas Greg Abbott trans legislation that he was trying to get passed through. I really do feel like this is like a political stunt kind of thing. At the same time, if it winds up sticking, like the abortion uh, situation, the abortion lawsuit bounty thing, if it sticks, then it's great. But if not, then it's still something that gets your name on people's minds, in your state. So, essentially, though, a judge on Friday pretty much put a hold on it. So it doesn't it doesn't cancel it out, it doesn't stop it, but it does like temporarily do that. So that's really good. Just because it's such a stressful situation, and hopefully, from here it can kind of get permanently, taken down. I'll definitely see and keep you posted. Um, let's see. I think Macham says that there's a substantial likelihood that the lawyers for the American Civil Liberties Union and Lambda Legal will prevail in getting Governor Greg Abbott's directive for such investigations permanently overturned, calling his actions beyond the scope of his duty and unconstitutional, which I would personally agree. I don't know. It's just gross. This article definitely does have some good details, and does kind of talk about some, just some people's stories, because it just kind of, it's so overlooked, like the details that go into these kind of investigations, whether or not they bear fruit or whatever. Like it's like, oh well, why don't you just allow it? Like it's just an investigation to see how it's like a welfare check. Like no, it's like those kind of things are traumatic for the families, for the children, especially in situations where the child is looking to get these gender affirming, operations or services, and the parents are listening to that and supporting it. That's what a parent is supposed to do for their child. I think it's really strange that in Texas of all places that they just try so hard to ramrod that like conservative control on anatomy. It's I don't know. I don't like lingering on these stories too long, but I will definitely keep you guys updated because I know it's going to get appealed potentially, in terms of like they're going to try to appeal it, and then just going further whether or not the injunction sticks. I don't know if that's the right word for it. But I got another update. Sad one. Rest in peace to David Bennett. He died at 57. I've said that name before. I know some people may know, may not know. He had gotten just a really radical surgery. Got this from USA Today. Sorry. First person to receive gene-edited pig heart dies 2 months after historic transplant. So Dave Bennett it was really cool, really wild, situation. He was unfortunately unable to get on the list for a normal transplant, heart transplant, due to like, how he was living and like not really abiding to like a strict diet. I think he also had like a heartbeat or heart murmur situation too on top of it. So he just wasn't an eligible candidate. And things were looking bad. But the doctor said, hey, we can give you a pig heart. And initially, David Bennett was like, I don't know. I'd rather not do that. But then thinking on it, he was like, well, I want to get to have time with my family, as much time as I can. And he, came back and said, yeah, no, I'm down to try it. So they did it. The transplant was successful. And it was awesome. But sadly, it seems that like he wasn't really able to get out of the hospital. But he did get some more time on this earth, which I think is always important and precious. He said he got to watch the Super Bowl with his physical therapist, so I thought that was neat. Also, his family was also able to see him, get more time with him. Let's see. I think also the doctor who did the surgery had some things to say too, which was really cool. He said, we have gained invaluable insights learning that the genetically modified pig heart can function well within the human body while the immune system is adequately suppressed. This was from Dr. Muhaddini. Sorry about that. An expert in interspecies transplants who was involved in Bennett's care at the University of Maryland. So, I mean, it's definitely a bummer, but he did just something really cool and really radical. And, I'm sure he will be missed by his family. And we definitely want to give him flowers. And, yeah. Uh-oh. Okay, looks like my USA Today is not being cooperative with me. But moving on to the next thing. I got an update, and I'm going to say his name right, because this is also now Corrections Corner. Jesse Smollett. I was saying Jesse. I know. I'm sorry. I gentrified. I colonized his name, and that's on me. That's on me. But Jesse Smollett has been sentenced to 5 months in jail for falsely reporting he was the victim of a hate crime. Got this from BuzzFeed News. Essentially, and I really do kind of want to highlight a little bit here because he did a little bit of a pop off, if you will. But essentially, he was sentenced. The judge said their bit. But then he immediately kind of pops up and he says, I am innocent and I am not suicidal. If anything happens to me when I go in there, I did not do it to myself, and you must all know that. So he said that pretty much in regards to like how Epstein and like people have been like, suicided or, hung themselves or what have you in jail. And he's pretty much saying like, hey, I did not do that if that's what happens to me. Like this is like further continuation of a political hit job or something on him. Essentially the details, if you're not privy, Smollett and a couple other people who were kind of like his entourage / like, I think they were parts of Empire, like kind of like extras on the set type beat. But essentially, he paid them to stage a hate crime in which he was like, said he was tied up and like they said like, I think racial stuff. I can't remember like all the details of it, but essentially he said he was just this victim of it. And, it arced up a lot of publicity and attention. Even up to like Kamala Harris issued a statement in support of Jesse Smollett. So, I mean, it was a big deal. It got a lot of attention. But then it turned out like when the investigation really got rolling and they found the people who were like alleged and potentially responsible, they're like, no, like, and they told a different story and essentially told like, hey, we were paid like $3,000. And we were, supposed to drive around and we're going to hop out, do this stuff here. We planned it out. And like, there's even camera footage of them driving around smoking and like, it's so bad. So, I mean, essentially, Smollett's defense is like, hey, no, that money was for their startup. We're friends. We're cool. But this really happened to me, though. Like, essentially trying to say he's being blindsided, railroaded. This is a whole further political, racial thing. I don't know. He was popping off, and he continued to pop off here. I mean, there are people who are arguing that like the 150 days in jail is a bit too much for the situation. There was like no real victim other than him. Though I do agree with the judgment in terms of saying like, hey, no, people who actually have real hate crimes, or real victims, they're going to be potentially scared now because people might not believe them and say they're a Jesse, And that's also Jesse in this day and age. If you're if you're familiar with some Zoomer speak, that's not what you want. You don't want any ussy in any of your adverbs involving anything you're doing in your life. But man, I mean, I do. It sucks because I never want to see a black man go to jail for anything. I mean, if it is 150 days, like that's just not cool. Jail is fucking shitty. It's terrible. And not to mention having a felony on your record. It's not good. I mean, I do agree too that his career has taken a hit that it probably he's not going to be able to recover from. I think the best that you can probably get out of this is maybe a Netflix documentary or something on HBO. I don't know. And he's a talented guy, so it's a real shame. But I mean, this shit was live on camera, dog. It was not a good look. So yeah. Oh yeah, he also then raised his fist. He did the Black Power thing. I was like, oh Jesse, no. But so yeah, I mean, hopefully it's a quick stay for him. He gets in and out. I think it's like 5 months total. Hopefully that's like quicker with good behavior or whatever. Hopefully no COVID. Hopefully he's boosted. But yeah, crazy story, man. Wild shit. Empire got too real for Smollett there. Got some sports news. I don't know what. I think that was me attempting to make a ball sound noise. I hope that conveyed to you. Got this from The Athletic, and then also I believe CBS Sports or something like that, which does not sound very sporty. NBC Sports, Chicago. MLB lockout news. MLB owners, players reach agreement on new CBA. So essentially, we're gonna be getting some baseball this year. All the boomers, they're happy. Their favorite pastime is still alive. I think it's just pretty much going to be behind a week or going to be a week shorter of a season. So that's pretty cool. From the perspective of the parties, I do have, I think, a little bit of a layout of what was gained, if you will. Let's see. The luxury tax was the biggest issue in the labor battle. MLB and the union agreed to a threshold of $230 million in 2022, about a 10% increase from 2021, and that will increase to $244 million by 2026. Let's see, and then there's some more elements here that I got from the Chicago sports side. Minimum salary will raise to $700,000 in 2022 and increase $20,000 the ensuing 4 seasons. A bonus pool for productive pre-arbitration players of $50 million. Expanding postseason field to 12 teams. Universal designated hitter. The MLB and the union will negotiate on a potential international draft. Ooh, spicy. If they reach an agreement by July 25th, draft pick compensation attached to lost top free agents will be eliminated. Otherwise, both systems will remain status quo. A 20-round amateur draft. I'm not drinking enough to talk like Daffy Duck. Or Donald Duck. I don't know. One of those ducks. A 6-pack draft lottery. That sounds yummy. So this is the second longest work stoppage in baseball history. That's pretty crazy because it got done pretty quick, but at the same time they didn't because they kind of sat on their hands for a while. On that note, I'm going to do a little rank. So give me a second. I decided it's going to be a wine day today, even though the time for me is not even 11 o'clock. But it's kind of like orange juice, right? That's what I'm telling myself. I don't know. It's yummy, though. Oh, man. I'm getting out of order here. Okay. Last bit, though. Let's see. I believe I got this from ABC News. I don't know. It's the one with the peacock. But also the Associated Press. Congress passes bill named after Emmett Till to make lynching a hate crime. And the maximum sentence for this anti-lynching act is 30 years. Okay, it's crazy that there has been 200 bills introduced over a century before. Like, it took that long. It took that many bills to make this happen. To me, you would think, especially after seeing something as graphic and brutal as the Emmett Till situation, they do go on to explain that in this article. A Mississippi teen, I believed he had potentially whistled at a white woman, and that was a big no-no back then in 1955. And he was beaten and lynched. His mother went through with an open casket because she wanted the world to see what they did to her boy. Needless to say, we've made a lot of strides in civil rights. Still not enough, of course, but it's crazy to me that it's 2022 and we're finally like, you know what? We done got through a whole pandemic. Let's talk about it. Let's be real. We shouldn't lynch, right? That's bad, right? Come on, right? Let's knock that out. Let's stop it. Let's make sure that if that happens, you get to add on some extra charges. So good that we've done that. Thank you, Congress. Thank you, Joe Byron. Please take me out to dinner because it's expensive right now. But yeah, no, I'm glad that happened. That's a good piece of reform. I'm glad Biden is making sure he's got the black vote. No, I don't know. But thank you for tuning in, guys. I think I got another episode in me. I think I'm going to pull off the hat trick, which is of no consequence or concern. But, these are little milestones that I like pulling off for myself. So hopefully I'll see you again for another episode. I don't actually think I'm going to shill too hard here. Let's see, patreon.com/Isaiah News. That's the one. If you pay me $5, I'll shout you out on the podcast. Like Stephanie Renee. Oh man, this wine is talking now. It's taking over. But Stephanie Renee, Stephanie Mills, that's my Facebook friend. She's also queen of Facebook, or she's also the queen of this podcast, really. She's, donated the most. She's contributed hella. And I'm pretty much, contractually obligated to at least shout her out once a week. And you could be one of those cool people too. You could be just like the Queen Newsy. But that's up to you. That's your choice. If you want to support the pod, which is obviously going to make better quality things, make me a happier person. Because naturally, the more financially stimulated I am, the better I perform. That's just facts. I'm a material girl. But yeah, thank you to her. Thank you to all you guys, though, because you just listening is just awesome. I love seeing that when I check the little stat tickers and stuff. That makes me smile. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a good day, a good weekend, a good time whenever you're listening to this, wherever you are. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.